Tonight on NewsWatch, heading home. Egypt's former president is out of jail tonight. We have the details on his release. Plus, a look at what kind of communication the National Security Administration has been tracking and what that could mean for your privacy. And following the money, how packing up and moving out is saving people on their taxes. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. There's more uncertainty in Egypt tonight. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin. The government has released ousted leader Hosni Mubarak from prison, stoking fears that it wants to return to Mubarak's old regime. Heather Sells has more in tonight's top story.
The military-backed government ignited tensions with this one move, releasing Egypt's former president Hosni Mubarak from prison. The Muslim Brotherhood sees the act as further proof that the military is trying to restore Mubarak's old regime.
This is horrible. It'll cancel everything we've been through, all the killing, all the bloodshed. It's devastating.
Perhaps to ease fears, the government has not let Mubarak go free, but instead flew the 85-year-old to a military hospital, where he'll be held under house arrest. Although Mubarak's new status could indicate that the current regime intends to return to the old order, the State Department is calling it an internal issue.
It's working its way through the legal system there.
Crowds of Mubarak supporters celebrated his release outside his jail. Internationally, enormous concern about Egypt's instability continues. More than 1,000 people have been killed in the last week, and some say the country is on the brink of civil war. Here at home, the debate on aid to Egypt is mounting. Senator John McCain is one who wants to cut it off.
The United States has influence, but if the United States doesn't use that influence, then it has no influence.
Egypt's prime minister says he hopes the aid will not be cut.
This will be a very bad sign. It will definitely affect the military for some time.
The U.S. is calling for Egypt to transition to a democratically elected government, and perhaps that will happen. The prime minister says he believes that free elections could take place within months. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Gary Lane is our senior international correspondent, and he joins us now with more. Gary, we've just seen a lot about the crisis in Egypt, but you've just written a blog about something that we don't necessarily hear much about. How is the situation in the country affecting the children in the region?
Yeah, you don't hear much about that, do you? But the children, many of these kids are traumatized. Those that aren't traumatized are trying to figure out what's going on in my country. So some of them are expressing their feelings through drawing, through poetry. I want to show you a drawing that one of the children drew that has been very popular on the internet, on the website. This is a drawing of basically a mosque. On the right here, the mosque, the Muslims are reaching out to the Christians in the church that is weeping and weeping along with it. And many Egyptians feel that way. Many feel like, hey, we're in this together. Egypt is for Muslims and Christians. We've gotten along well over the centuries. Let's return to that again. So a little empathy there. Then here's another one. Let's take a look at this poem. This is a poem from a Coptic orphan we want to share with you right now. Just a little bit of that.
بلدي وبلد أبويا ومنها ما احناش ماشيين أموت بس أموت على دين
I'll die, but I'll die upon my faith. This is our country too. We're the Christians. And many Christians feel strongly about that in Egypt, and the children especially. They get it from their parents. Generations of Christians there that were there long, 500, 600 years before the Muslims.
Wow, those are powerful, the poem and the picture. Now, do you think former President Mubarak's release from prison is going to incite more violence?
Well, I don't think so. I read one tweet today of someone who said, I woke up this morning and I felt like it was 3 years ago. All over again here, because 3 years ago Mubarak was in power, the military was in control, and Mubarak, he's under house arrest. He still faces charges. He's 83, 84, something like that, and in ill health. So he doesn't pose much of a threat. But the Islamists do not like that. There's going to be a big rally tomorrow in Cairo, also in Alexandria. We'll have to wait and see. That's a pro-Morsi, pro-Brotherhood rally.
All right.
See what happens there.
I know you'll stay on top of
Sure,
it. Thanks,
will.
Gary.
Sure.
Appreciate it. And for more from Gary, make sure you check out his blog, The Global Lane. You can find that on our website, cbnnews.com. Many in the international community are calling for action if allegations the Syrian regime used chemical weapons against rebels and civilians prove true. That is, UN investigators are on the ground in Syria examining the possible chemical use. The Syrian regime calls the claims absolutely baseless, but France urged today force be taken if a chemical attack can be confirmed. In the past, President Obama has said the use of such weapons might force the U.S. to intervene in the Syrian civil war. Here at home, one day after being sentenced to 35 years in prison for leaking classified documents to WikiLeaks, Private First Class Bradley Manning announced today he now plans to live as a woman. He is asking to be referred to as Chelsea and wants to begin hormone therapy soon. In a statement, the Army says it does not provide hormone therapy or sex reassignment surgery for gender identity disorder. But Manning's defense attorney says he will do everything in his power to make sure they accommodate Manning's request while in prison. He also plans to ask the White House to pardon Manning. A newly declassified intelligence report shows the National Security Agency was rebuked by the Secret Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court back in 2011. That rebuke came for collecting emails of Americans, even though they had no connection to terrorism. The NSA gathered as many as 56,000 communications. The Obama administration claims the NSA did not intend to gather that information. It was just an unintended consequence of attempts to track terrorist suspects. The FISA court ordered the NSA to stop the practice. And joining us now from our Washington, D.C. bureau is Seton Motley. He is the president of Less Government. Seton, it seems like this NSA scandal just keeps on unfolding. Should Americans be concerned?
Well, I think it's the bottom of the first of a 9-inning baseball game is when you combine the amount of information we can guess Edward Snowden has. They're going to start, the NSA is going to start releasing their own data on data grabs because as kind of a preemptive strike. But yes, we should be very concerned. Time and time and time again, Edward Snowden releases something. The Obama administration says, oh, it's that. Yes, that's bad, but it's just that and it's not more. And then Edward Snowden releases something that proves that it's much, much more than that. And they say, well, it's that bad, but it's not any worse. And then he goes further still. So I think we're a long way away from even beginning to unravel all the stuff that's going on with the NSA and our data.
The Wall Street Journal has reported the NSA can monitor about 75% of U.S. internet traffic, but the NSA says that's misleading. What do you think?
How do you get a warrant to monitor 75% of internet traffic? I think it's very disconcerting. This is, again, we have a Fourth Amendment. It protects us against unreasonable searches and seizures, and they have to go get a specific warrant prior to collecting data and collecting information on us. These broad FISA court data warrants, which are unbelievably wide in scope, is not what the Fourth Amendment allows. You're supposed to be, I want data on Seton Motley, and I want a warrant for Seton Motley's stuff. Then you branch out. You don't start with 75% of the internet or every phone call on the Verizon network for 5 years. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. It's unconstitutional, and it's an incredible breach of our privacy and our security.
Has the administration seen any real backlash, Seton, as a result of these NSA revelations?
Sadly, no. Again, when you have a steno pool instead of a White House press pool, they get away with a lot of stuff, and they've certainly gotten away with a lot on this. It's the number of times administration officials and Barack Obama, President Obama himself, have lied about this. You know, you have the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, on March 12th, lying directly to Senator Ron Wyden, Democrat, Oregon, about the Verizon program, the PRISM program, the first of many we've come to find out about. I don't know if we can trust the administration's word on any of this, because they've been caught lying so often, so repeatedly on this.
Okay. Seton Motley of Less Government, thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
A San Antonio high school student who refused to wear an ID badge with a computer chip is going back to school. The school no longer uses the chips. Last fall, Andrea Hernandez refused to wear the badge. It uses radio frequency identification technology to track students. Hernandez said it violated her religious liberty, reminding her of the biblical mark of the beast. The school district said the badges helped count students and increased state funding. The Northside Independent School District has now decided to scrap the RFID program and allow Hernandez to return to her magnet school. Coming up, flooding rains pouring down in the Philippines. How CBN disaster relief teams are helping.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes now.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
A major natural disaster in the Philippines. Torrential rains have brought massive flooding to Manila. Government offices, banks, schools, and shops throughout the city of 12 million are closed. Tens of thousands have found shelter in more than 200 evacuation centers. CBN disaster relief teams are there, and so is our Asia correspondent, Lucille Toulousan. Take a look.
Metro Manila and surrounding provinces were paralyzed because of heavy flooding. Torrential rains induced by Typhoon Trami submerged 60% of the capital region, even turning main highways into rivers, forcing both government and private offices to close, including the U.S. Embassy. More than 600,000 people were affected by the disaster. 1/3 of these people fled to evacuation centers, but there were those who chose to remain in their flooded homes. Despite the danger of being trapped in the flood waters, the residents here, which number about 1,000 families, opted to stay in their homes. They say they are not comfortable in the very cramped evacuation centers. But for Lorena and her 1-year-old son, this space at the corner of a school gym is refuge for them.
It was my birthday yesterday, and I am just so sad with our situation. But we had to flee our house because the water was already up to my neck. It's my wish that this flooding will never happen again, not only for me, but for all of us who are now suffering.
This school that's been turned into an evacuation center houses 200 families. Among them are CBN's beneficiaries of the Bless a Child program. 5-year-old Angel is one of them. She was malnourished, weighing only 9 kilos before joining the feeding program. After 3 months, she now weighs 14 kilos. Her grandmother, Natividad, is thankful because Angel has become stronger to endure their present condition. Natividad is also happy that the CBN disaster relief team brought food, mats, and blankets for them and their neighbors.
First of all, I thank God and I thank people like you who come to comfort us and help us. It really means a lot because of all the hardships that we face.
She's also grateful to her pastor, Teresa Pastera, who has partnered with CBN to meet not only the spiritual needs of their community, but their physical needs as well. CBN has deployed several disaster relief teams to the affected areas to distribute food, mats, and blankets to the flood victims. Medical assistance and livelihood trainings will also be conducted in the days ahead to ease their suffering and help them recover from the disaster. Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Laguna, Philippines.
Promise Keepers founder Coach Bill McCartney rallied Detroit's Christian leaders to help their struggling city. More than 50 pastors heard from McCartney and others, including from a former Muslim Brotherhood terrorist. He told them radical Islamists began in the 60s working to racially divide and weaken the city. McCartney and PK President Dr. Raleigh Washington say the pastors can lead the city's recovery. And tomorrow morning on CBN News, we have an exclusive interview with Dr. Washington, and look for a full story on NewsWatch tomorrow as well. Up next, moving to save money, how some states are attracting new residents.
Attention, sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Have you ever considered moving to get some relief from high taxes where you live? Well, that's just what many people across the country have done. As Heather Sells explains in tonight's Focus Report, that migration is creating clear winners and losers.
What is it that causes people to pick up and move? Whether it's across town or across the country. You don't usually hear taxes in the explanation, but new data shows it's all part of the equation. The IRS provided the evidence that allows us to simply follow the money.
We're talking about not a survey, not a sample, not a focus group. We're talking about actual results of people's adjusted gross income.
The data author Travis Brown cites in How Money Walks shows the incomes of 43 million Americans. and where they went between 1995 and 2010.
Generally, what we find is that taxpayers over the long term are fleeing the high tax states and flocking to the low tax states.
Brown discovered that the 9 states with no personal income tax gained $146 billion in income during this period. And the states with the highest personal income tax rates, they lost $107 billion. Overall, states with the lowest state and local tax burdens brought in almost $70 billion, and those with the highest burdens took a $139 billion hit. Some of these so-called winner states, like Texas and Florida, are well known for attracting newcomers, but others could be considered more of a well-kept secret.
You might not think of Tennessee as a trendy state to move to, but that's actually what's happening. It's one of 9 states nationwide with no personal income tax and an overall low tax burden.
A lot of people are coming from the Midwest, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. A lot of people are coming from the Northeast because that's a very expensive place to live.
Mary Jo Page directs marketing for Fairfield Glade, a retirement community perched high atop Tennessee's Cumberland Plateau. The natural beauty here makes it an easy sell, and the lower taxes help to close the deal. Karen and Dennis Shaw escaped 10 years ago from the D.C. suburbs of Northern Virginia.
When I left up there, I was paying $4,000 a year in taxes, and when I moved down here, my taxes went to $750.
Chris and Abe Seelick moved from a small house in Chicago to a beautiful retirement home in Fairfield Glade. Here they can afford extras like a new pontoon boat.
We still have a house in Chicago, 3-bedroom ranch. We pay over $9,000 taxes. On this house on the lake, we pay less than $1,400.
In fact, Tennessee joins the top 10 states that saw the greatest gains in adjusted gross income from 1995 to 2010. And the losers? States with notoriously high taxes like California, Michigan, and Illinois. James Martin, head of 60 Plus, a conservative seniors group, thinks taxes are the #1 reason that people move, although it's not always discussed.
Those states that they're moving to, sure, climate is a part of that, but that's not the real reason. It's the economic situation they find in those states.
Critics contend that tax cuts play at most a minor role in migration. They point to research that shows people move for climate, new jobs, and cheaper housing. Of course, there's plenty of folks on the ground in Fairfield Glade who would disagree.
That's probably even more important to people than what the cost of the homes are, because that's more of their long-term living expenses are the taxes here.
Brown is careful not to blame high taxes for this migration. He describes it more as a correlation and believes that policymakers should not ignore statistics that show dramatic shifts between high and low tax states.
They're not the only thing, but they do weigh in when it's time to make a lifetime decision.
For families like the Shaws, lower taxes have brought peace of mind and a little extra to spare.
We have here the home that we wanted, the land that we wanted, the amenities that we really wanted.
For all families, there's no denying that taxes affect income. Exactly how that affects where they live is debatable. But as the IRS numbers show, any community that wants to attract people should consider low taxes as a draw, just like a beautiful golf course or mountain lake. Reporting in Cumberland County, Tennessee, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Stop struggling with heavy hoses that are kinked and deliver little or no water, or worse, break. Introducing the incredible flexible hose. Turn the water on and it expands up to 3 times its original length, so you can easily guide it anywhere you need without tangling. When you turn the water off, as it drains, the hose retracts back to its original shape. Standard rubber hoses can weigh between 8 and 12 pounds, but a 25-foot flexible hose weighs less than a pound. The flexible hose is so compact and lightweight, a child can manage a 75-foot hose easily. The flexible hose will never kink and is guaranteed to take the mess out of watering your lawn and plants. So washing your windows or spraying off your gutters has never been easier. The flexible hose is made of a tough double wall construction that is designed to bend and stretch but never kink.
Flexible hose is designed like a fire hose for speed,
storage, and strength to last a really long time.
Call or visit FlexibleHose.com to order the incredible Flexible Hose for only $19.95. Call right now and we will include a 7-way adjustable spray nozzle free. You can choose a full action spray, a gentle mist, a powerful jet, a vertical mist, flat spray, a cone spray, or a soaker setting. So stop coiling your hose with bulky devices. Flexible Hose automatically retracts in seconds and weighs less than 1 pound. In fact, a 75-foot hose easily fits in a small bucket and stores away neatly in a drawer. Flexible Hose saves you precious space on boats and is perfectly portable for RVs. But wait, order today and we'll give you a second Flexible Hose system free. Just pay separate processing and handling. That's 2 flexible hoses and 2 7-way adjustable spray nozzles, a $40 value, all for only $19.95. This offer is not available in any store. Order now.
To order Flexible Hose and take advantage of this amazing double offer, call 1-800-769-3384 or go to flexiblehose.com. Remember, this offer is not available in stores, so call now.
St. Augustine said enthusiasm in one man ignites the same fire in another. Recently, Ephraim Graham caught up with one young Christian who decided to put that to the test by making a cross-country journey to inspire other Christians to live their faith to the fullest.
It's been a long walk for Dan Reinke.
99 days, about 2,510 miles, and about 5 million and maybe 300,000 footsteps.
In May, he stood on an Oregon beach at the Pacific Ocean. Then he turned east with a mission to accomplish more than just a cross-country hike.
The best word would be to call it a pilgrimage, and it's also a personal journey in striving to grow closer to God.
Dan grew up Catholic, but fell away from the church. That slide ended about 2 years ago, and he says his return has brought more happiness than he ever imagined. Now he hopes to spread that feeling by encouraging other Christians to fearlessly live out their faith.
When you hear a lot of negative on the news, and sometimes it can kind of be depressing, and I think people are looking for something that'll inspire, and God's allowed this trip to do that.
Dan's not a preacher. He lets his sign do the talking. It proved to be enough to pique the curiosity of a number of people along his 3-month journey.
I saw the whole backpack and all the thing, and I'm like, what are you doing? I think it's incredible. I think that's what we need. That's what our country is lacking.
What?
The Lord.
Though it's been lonely, Dan's felt the touch of kindness from strangers, free meals, free beds, a cup of coffee, or an encouraging word.
There's a lot of good people out there, is what I've come to find, and a lot of people that took care of me along the way in lots of different ways, whether conversation or coffee or breakfast or a small donation or big donation.
His long road ended at the Virginia Beach Boardwalk. Diving into the ocean, feeling the cool water rinse off the dirt and sweat. It seems like a baptism. For having completed his mission, he now begins life anew.
All done!
Ephraim Graham, CBN News.
Thank you, Lord.
Good for him. Thank you, Lord is right. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great night.